Latin America is the group of territories and countries in the Americas where Romance languages are spoken. The term originated in 19th century France to include French-speaking territories in the Americas within the larger group of countries that speak Spanish and Portuguese. It is therefore marginally broader than the term Iberian America or Spanish America, though it excludes French-speaking Quebec. Latin America consists of 20 sovereign states which cover an area that stretches from the southern border of the United States to the southern tip of South America, including the Caribbean. It has an area of approximately 19,197,000 square kilometers, almost 13% of the Earth's land surface area. As of 2013, its population was estimated at more than 604 million, and in 2014, Latin America had a combined nominal GDP of $5,573,397 million United States dollars and a GDP PPP of $7,531,585 million United States dollars. The term Latin America was first used in 1861 in La Revue des Races Latines, a magazine dedicated to the cause of Pan-Latinism. Etymology and definitions. Origin: the idea that a part of the Americas has a linguistic affinity with the Romance cultures as a whole can be traced back to the 1830s. In the writing of the French Saints Simone and Michel Chevalier, who postulated that this part of the Americas was inhabited by people of a Latin race, and that it could, therefore, ally itself with Latin Europe, in a struggle with Teutonic Europe, Anglo-Saxon America, and Slavic Europe. The idea was later taken up by Latin American intellectuals and political leaders of the mid and late 19th century, who no longer looked to Spain or Portugal as cultural models, but rather to France. The term was first used in Paris in an 1856 conference by the Chilean politician Francisco Bilbao, and the same year by the Colombian writer José María Torres Caicedo in his poem Two Americas. The term Latin America was supported by the French Empire of Napoleon III during the French invasion of Mexico as a way to include France among countries with influence in the Americas and to exclude Anglophone countries. It played a role in his campaign to imply cultural kinship of the region with France, transform France into a cultural and political leader of the area, and install Maximilian of Habsburg as emperor of the Second Mexican Empire. This term was also used in 1861 by French scholars in La Revue des Races Latines, a magazine dedicated to the Pan-Latinism movement. In contemporary usage, in one sense, Latin America refers to territories in the Americas where the Spanish or Portuguese languages prevail. Mexico, most of Central and South America, and in the Caribbean Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. Latin America is, therefore, defined as all those parts of the Americas that were once part of the Spanish and Portuguese empires. By this definition, Latin America is coterminous with Ibero-America. Particularly in the United States, the term more broadly refers to all of the Americas south of the United States, thus including the Guianas, the Anglophone Caribbean, the Francophone Caribbean, and the Dutch-speaking Caribbean. This definition emphasizes a similar socio-economic history of the region, which was characterized by formal or informal colonialism, rather than cultural aspects. As such, some sources avoid this oversimplification by using the phrase Latin America and the Caribbean instead, as in the United Nations Geo-scheme for the Americas. In a more literal definition, which remains faithful to the semantic origin, Latin America designates countries in the Americas south of the United States where a Romance language predominates. Spanish, Portuguese, and French and the Creole languages based upon these. Cf. languages of South America and languages of North America. If entities at the subnational level are included, Francophone Canada would also be considered part of Latin America, while conversely Anglophone Colombia would be excluded, as would the many regions where Amerindian languages predominate. By the same logic, parts of the United States where Spanish-speaking or French-speaking populations form the majority would be considered Latin American. However, in practice, Francophone Canada is rarely considered part of Latin America due to the fact that its history, distinctive culture, economy, geographical location, and British-inspired political institutions are generally deemed too closely intertwined with the rest of Canada. The distinction between Latin America and Anglo-America is a convention based on the predominant languages in the Americas by which Romance language and English-speaking cultures are distinguished. Neither area is culturally or linguistically homogeneous. In substantial portions of Latin America, Native American cultures and, to a lesser extent, Amerindian languages are predominant, and in other areas, the influence of African cultures is strong. Subdivisions. Latin America can be subdivided into several subregions based on geography, politics, demographics and culture. If defined as all of the Americas south of the United States, the basic geographical subregions are North America, Central America, the Caribbean and South America. The latter contains further politico-geographical subdivisions such as the Southern Cone, the Guianas and the Andean states. It may be subdivided on linguistic grounds into Hispanic America, Portuguese America and French America.